You ever sit in a room full of people and feel like a ghost? Not invisible, just unseen. You speak and no one really hears you. You give and no one really values it. You exist, but only when it's convenient for them. And that's the curse, isn't it? You gave them everything. Your time, your loyalty, your love. And in return, they gave you silence. They gave you absence. They gave you betrayal disguised as companionship. That's when it hits you. You weren't part of their story. You were just a chapter, placeholder, a warm body to stand next to when life got cold. But the second you stumbled, they vanished. That's the brutal truth no one wants to say out loud. Most people never really loved you. They loved how you made them feel. They loved the light you brought, the support you offered, the loyalty you gave, until it stopped serving them. And when the giving ended, so did the pretending. Their smiles turned plastic. Their concern became scripted. And the friendship? It came with conditions. You had to shrink to fit their comfort. You had to stay quiet so they could feel tall. And the second you said, "What about me?" you became too much. That's not friendship. That's consumption. You were fuel, not family. And the second you stopped burning for them, they left you in the dark. But here's what they didn't expect. You didn't stay down. You didn't beg. You didn't chase. You sat in the silence. You faced the ache. You looked your loneliness in the eye and said, "I'll build from this." You see, there's something terrifying about a person who walks alone and doesn't break. They can't control you. They can't manipulate you. They can't guilt trip you anymore, because you've tasted solitude. And you didn't just survive it. You mastered it. Let them call you cold. Let them say you changed. Damn right you changed. Because pain rewrites your DNA. Betrayal rearranges your soul. And once you've been broken by people you would have died for, you stop bleeding for anyone who wouldn't even flinch for you. You see, standing alone isn't weakness. It's strength most people will never understand. Because it takes guts to rebuild with no blueprint, to heal without closure, to grow without applause. That's the thing they never tell you. Growth isn't graceful. It's violent. It's lonely. It's sleepless nights, tight chests, and learning how to breathe again after someone knocked the wind out of your purpose. And yeah, you'll miss them. You'll have days where your soul whispers their name, nights where your heart replays every smile, every touch, every lie they told with loving eyes. But you won't go back. Because you finally understand. They didn't break you because you were weak. They broke you because you were strong enough to carry the weight of both hearts. And they weren't. You were too much for people who had too little to give. You offered depth to those drowning in shallow waters. You gave gold to hands that only knew how to grab. And now they miss you. Not because they loved you, but because they lost the benefits of you. That's the secret. They don't miss you. They miss what you gave. The comfort, the support, the patience, the presence. They don't regret what they did. They regret losing the supply. And now they watch from a distance. Liking your posts at 2 a.m., sending your name through mutual friends, throwing breadcrumbs of nostalgia like it's enough to rebuild what they tore apart. But you don't bite, because you're not starving anymore. You're full, not of love, but of lessons. You don't entertain ghosts that left you haunted. You don't reopen doors that were slammed when you needed shelter. You don't lower your light just to guide someone who never wanted to walk with you in the dark. You've changed, and that scares them. Because now they see what they lost. Now they see that you didn't fall apart without them. You evolved. You leveled up. You turned your heartbreak into hunger, and your hunger into power. Now they whisper, who hurt you, but they already know. They just don't want to admit it was them. Let them talk. Let them lie. Let them rewrite the story to make themselves the victim. It doesn't matter. Because you stopped performing. You stopped auditioning for roles in lives that couldn't even remember your lines. You stopped explaining your worth to people too blind to see it. And that silence, it's not a lack of love. It's the loudest boundary you've ever set. They thought you'd always be there. They thought your patience was infinite, your loyalty unshakable. But every soul has a breaking point, and they reached yours. And now you choose peace over chaos, distance over drama, solitude over fake company. And it hurts. It hurts like hell to realize the people you were ready to bleed for wouldn't even offer you a bandage. But now that pain fuels you. It reminds you of who you were and who you'll never be again. You don't walk alone because you have to. You walk alone because you choose to. Because freedom tastes better than fake love. Because silence is safer than empty promises. Because the only validation you need now is the echo of your own footsteps moving forward. You've become a storm, not the kind that destroys, but the kind that cleanses. And now, when they remember you, they won't just remember the version of you they once knew. They'll remember the fire they tried to snuff out, the soul they tried to dim, the blessing they discarded like trash. Only to realize later, you were the rarest thing they ever had. But by then, it's too late. You're gone. Not missing. Not hiding. Just unavailable to anyone who couldn't hold you when you were breaking. That's the power of walking away with your dignity intact. That's the consequence of treating loyalty like weakness. And that's the reward for surviving people who only clapped when they were the center of attention. You are not too much. You are not too intense. You are just too real. For a world that confuses depth with danger. So, walk alone. Not in anger. Not in revenge. But in reverence. For the version of yourself that kept going when everything screamed to give up. You are not broken. You are forged. Built in fire. Molded in silence. And now, you're not just walking, you're unstoppable.